Hello, my name is Dominic Underhall-House and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. Today we are back on the experimental server and we're going to be trying out our Experimental Extilior list. So, what we've got here is we've put together a list that I think could be quite good with the with the objective meta. There we go. So we've got Extilior because he moves really fast and he actually gets onto objectives really quickly. We've got both Antios and Tlalli who can actually destroy cinder crates early on to gain us a little bit of a cinder advantage. We've got Maximus for a good solid 2-drop, Scattervine because we can deploy it onto a cinder crate, hit it and then potentially move and pick up the cinder as well. And then it's just useful in the late game for controlling objectives. I think Scattervine's very good in this potential meta actually. Blindsider Eztli to combo for some damage with our other 1-drops. Peacemaker Balam, so that actually helps us control the objective game a little bit more. Shrapnel and Beatris here because they both combo very well with Flurry. And I wanted to try and get into a situation where we could use Balam to stun something, we could use Turncoat over a wall maybe, and just sort of take control of something as well, and then with Stimburst and Disruptor we can put things into places that we need them. So I'm going to hopefully run into some games versus Chaos Theory, and we'll be able to enjoy ourselves and see how much fun we have. So I'll see you back in game. If you've enjoyed this sort of content, please do hit that subscribe button, like the video, go ahead and support us over on Patreon. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll be jumping into the game and I'll see you when we get there. Okay, so we are now loading into our very first game versus Chaos Theory with this new list, and I'm really interested to see how this goes. So I've actually not done so well in terms of win rate on the new patch, but I've had a lot of fun with it. Okay, so we've got cinder piles, so this is good for our strategy here. We have got multiple units who can take advantage of this. It's the 3VP setup. Okay, so this is a really important spot to hold, so we actually just want to be, when we get to choose our deployment, as close as possible. So in this instance, I don't know if either of these is particularly close, but I think it's this one that we want to go for. Maybe even to the north. I think this is slightly quicker, so we'll go for this. And let's see where Chaos spawns. Hey, Chaos spawn. Pretty sure that's a model from 40k. Yeah, hang on, is that... Okay, for a second I thought they were right next to us. Okay, so we're going to just make our... Oh, yeah, so we are first. So what's our deployment range here? So what's technically closer? I think this is slightly closer. This might be able to get us something onto the objective turn 1. It does, so we can pop Antios or Tlalli up here. We're going with Antios because he only takes 1 cinder to hit things. And this actually has us scoring 3VP immediately. So they've gone for stun and Stimburst, interesting. So because we've got Disruptor, depending on where they deploy, so they could just deploy on here. But yeah, so we can actually, if we do this well, just go for a real quick advantage. So we're just going to move over here, block that route of entry, and I'm just going to go for the full-on early unit advantage here. So we've got a unit, they don't. We're controlling the objective here, and now they're going to have to deploy it once again onto this to stop us scoring. Oh, I don't think I like this. So it looks like the cinder pile is blocking Chaos from moving. That I don't like. So in general, as a player, I'm not the biggest fan of the cinder piles. I think they change how quick, like they change basically the scoring ridiculously quickly, because one person can just get a bit of advantage early on, and it really does, you know, cause a bit of a struggle for the other player. I don't think it's great. What I also think is, yeah, so okay, the crit works well for them, but that also means they don't get the additional cinder because destroying it doesn't grant cinder. So that's probably about as bad as it gets there. Okay, so that's Beatris over on top of us. At this point I almost feel like we just start hitting their captain and just ignoring Beatris, maybe put our own Beatris to block it into place, but this doesn't feel great. You know what? Let's start going for it. We can take that hit. Okay, so we can actually move, so what I'm going to do So I'm going to move to about here, with the plan being to disrupt her over that way, potentially knocking Beatris out of range. But that puts them into the VP. So it's 3 VP as well, actually. So maybe this is a mistake. Because the moment they're actually going to score that VP, so I actually think I changed my mind. I know this is a weird thing to do, but I've changed my mind rather than actually just sort of go for something different. And I think it makes more sense to just move this way. So this way they don't score the 3 VP and we can still keep applying pressure. But yeah, it's this is an odd thing to do, is use my disruptor basically to take back something I've already done, but I actually think it's the right choice. That I didn't think about. Maybe I thought this was slightly higher, so I didn't think we'd be able to get blocked out there, but they now have to choose where they want to go. This might be the turn they have to start thinking about the stun, especially if we got like a crit or something there. Because now, if they don't move, we've got a lot of damage pushing through. Okay, so they're going for crankbait and stunning Eztli. Yep, that makes sense. So because this doesn't really do anything, what do we do? Honestly, I almost feel like we deploy like our own Beatris or Shrapnel behind it. Do you know what I actually think we do? If we had one more Cinder, I know what I'd do. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to deploy a Beatris here. And then I'm actually going to deploy our Maximus just here, so that Beatris can't be pulled out the way as easily. And it's only going to be crankbait that can really get to them. So, how far can Beatrice go? She might not even be able to get in range, so let's take this hit. I almost feel like this is worth it, but it's going to just be a kill on us next turn, so let's move there. Perfect. So, puts Beatrice slightly out of range as well.
Do not distract me.
If we go down here, this actually just probably means that Beatrice can't get a good angle onto things anyway as well. So this feels good to me, because this is awkward, because we're going to need to kill them before they can kill us. So it would have been good if we could play... Tlalli here might have actually been more damage, maybe that was the correct option. But we can just move up here and start dealing with Beatrice if we need to. I mean, they could potentially move back here and block things off, but... like, we're putting pressure on for the captain kill here. So we're not, you know, trying to do anything other than just pressure their captain and see if we can beat this. But the problem is if they can kill Maximus, yeah, okay, so there's the stim burst, they are going to have to... So Chaos is taking the approach of leaving the objective. I mean, it has to be, it's the only thing that makes sense here, is leaving the objective to try and push captain pressure on. I'd imagine they're looking at dropping a unit in here, but maybe a big base doesn't fit, in which case they're just going to be taking extra damage anyway. But we've got a stim burst next turn. Okay, so Ria's in. So we've got what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've actually got a lethal here. Yeah, so I think if we can get all the units into place, we've actually got lethal here. So we should be able to get the kill. Let's stim burst everyone. So I am actually going to just use this and hit our Antios, which is obviously not ideal, but go for the hit. Doesn't really matter. Inner energy. Come over here and hit. Can Maximus get a good angle first? No. So I'm going to leave an angle this way, because I think we should be able to get around this side. Hit that. Maximus can get a good angle here. And just run away again. We will spend 1 Cinder on Tlalli for the sake of it. Come around here and go for lethal. So this was a good example where we had to race against the clock here. So there was a very good chance that we could end up losing if we didn't race quick enough. So this felt really good to me. This felt like a really useful game to understand sort of when to go one way, when to go another. It's still funny to me that sometimes you get the clock there. And get the Experimental XP. Interesting. So I'm up for another game of this. Like, we didn't actually make any use of the Cinder there, but what we did do is basically force them to stop us scoring 3 victory points early on by them placing their Antios down, and we just took it out immediately. So what I'm thinking might have been the correct play for Chaos there is to maybe just play Antios in a normal position, because if it's only 3 points and they don't let us score it in future rounds, it doesn't really matter. The only point, like in other games, or if we're playing like the Captain version, if the only point that matters is the last one of health, then why would any victory point other than the first one matter as well? The last one matter as well, because it's all about how you win. So Chaos has gone slow, sorry, defensive there. We've gone aggressive. So what is this? Oh, we're straight deathmatching here. Okay. Ah, but we're going second. Interesting. So they've gone for the same assists. Same captains. But where's their deployment going to be? Deployment over there. So interesting enough, that to me says I should be hiding back here slightly. But I am going to pick Antios because it's still a melee matchup. But we can also just, if they make too much of a run towards us, once again we can spend our Cinder to try and take these out rather than anything else. So if Antios just moves up here, I think we might actually even just push it in this direction, and then we should be able to move onto it with 2 different units, or we just stim burst and run onto it with both anyway. Could even just use both, but I think here, depending on what they deploy and where, we could go for a really aggressive follow-up. Okay, so there's Tantan, so we can get just out of range there. Where can this be pushed to? I'm not convinced if that's enough, so what do we do? I think in this case we're actually just gonna, so where can this move? Over there. We're going to try and get a stim burst use out here, so we're going to move to here. We're going to play our Beatris in, where's Extilior's range? So we can move it into Extilior's range about here, and we're just going to keep hiding in this direction, because this means Antios probably doesn't die. There you go. So if they want to get any damage, they have to come around this side, which is kind of what we want. I'm still really big on the movement assists over the other options. I think they're really, really powerful, and I think it's something that, yeah, there we go. So we've got a stim burst use out of them, which is what we wanted. They're still short here, so this has worked out exactly what we wanted. Okay, so Antios is going to miss next turn, but we're just going to move him onto this and just make that happen. It's really interesting that Tantan's ability lasts forever. Very, very good in a melee mirror match, because if you can just keep things from getting the damage down, it's really impactful. So what we've got here, ooh, interesting. If they go for this hit, I'd be very surprised, because it's 1 damage for 2 in return. Okay, they did go for it. So what are they doing? Because so far this stim burst hasn't done much. I suppose this got them in range. Okay, so there's a Beatris. Sure. What do we do about that? We can actually move through and hit onto that, which means that, yeah, we're not in the world's worst situation here. Yeah, Antios running away is probably correct. So we're probably going to want to play Eztli again, but Balam could be good here. Or we could just... Eztli's just too good.
The wings were a bad choice.
So let's go here and try and get some damage onto Tantan.
Nice and
We're just short, so I actually think this is probably worth a nudge. Because Tantan's going to be difficult for us to deal with eventually.
A slap is an unrealized touch.
Honestly, I think we just run away from Beatris here.
I forget nothing.
We can again go for more pressure. And then, but what we want then is something that can deal with Tantan. So, because Tantan's got a decent bit of range, the ability range is quite large. So honestly, I feel like we place Eztli something like over here. Where does Antios move? Antios moves there, so Let's go for this gap.
Many courses of action.
We should be just out of range of both. This could be another stun turn for them. But we already know we've got good damage. We need to find... Next turn, Antios needs to get in here to basically churn out damage. This is generally just unfortunate, but I don't think there's much we can do about it. We do have a good stim burst though, and here, this could be a hell of a turncoat game. Like if we can just hide over here, or somewhere over here, we can just start turncoating things, moving slightly away. Be brutal. Yep, there's the stun, we thought that would be coming. So the interesting thing about this is this makes Beatris miss, but my understanding is it doesn't make the ability miss. So now we're obviously popping in here. Yeah, so there's the next attack missing. Hang on. Does that work for both the counter attack and the attack? That's brutal if so. I thought it would only be one.
Retaliation is unwise.
So Beatris is dead now. No thank you, I don't like that. Tantan's performing here. So obviously this needs to be the case. You need to block this in place so that they can't get through as easily. Yes, this works out well. So there's that miss. This is stunned. See, I think we're coming in here. Where can this move to? So we can't place anything safely here. So we need to actually just go for chunk here. Go for impact on the battlefield. So what about placing shrapnel about here? I think placing it here actually prevents us getting hit from most angles. There you go. So they can come onto Eztli but not onto other things, but Eztli can die this turn anyway. So this basically makes them turn back onto Eztli. They're going to be cinder taxed one every turn from this, because Phaetus and Tantan's going to want to do it. I feel like things are just... I don't know why, but it feels like there needs to be like a limit on how often these things can load up, because this feels like it's going a bit glitchy on the side. I think we're losing this game, to clarify. Yeah, so this is the play I'd make. They do get hit back, which is nice because I'm no longer stunned. And think this, yeah, this goes to Eztli as well, which is absolutely correct. What that does do is leave us in a situation here where we might be able to get both of these killed with a spin. Ah, shrapnel missing. That makes sense. Yeah, so this could be a Scattervine turn as well if we oh no, we're one cinder short. Although we could just Scattervine and kill Tantan. But I really think moving up here and having that impact could be really useful. So I believe this hits both. It does indeed. So Sword of Justice here. Get this hit. Oh, I've got the crit. Okay, so what do we do here? Because obviously Shrapnel's going to miss. But we can move Shrapnel again into this gap and force the miss. Which is fine. And then if we deal 3 damage here, we can Scattervine that next turn. And place down Tlalli for now.
Even the oldest man has fists.
I think getting a hit here is a good thing to do. Oh wait, that have 3 shields. Oh, 2 shields. Oh, that's awful. Okay, so we just need to keep that out of range of Beatris, that's fine. Then Tlalli can come in. Let's pop Tlalli over here. Antios is just going to move back slightly. Try to stay out of range of Extilior without them using Stim Burst. And call it a day here. Okay, so now we'll almost definitely be able to kill Tantan, but Tantan's getting ridiculous here. We have to be able to deal with it. They can just run at our captain, which works. But I think we're in a safe spot. It's weird that we've got 2 in a row where we basically end up playing like a deathmatch. Very interesting. So I'm curious as to what Chaos is doing here. So we're a unit behind in general, but we're ahead on the battlefield. Tantan looks like he's going to go for Shrapnel again, which seems fair to me. And then this means they can just run on. Okay, so they're just going to go kill our Tlalli here. So fine. I didn't think they could get both of those, I'll be honest. I thought for some reason that I'd made better use of my space, but it's obvious that that was not the case at all. They had very good use there. But this is kind of setting up a situation where we might be able to use... what's it called? We might be able to use Turncoat. This has only got one shield, right? And Antios will miss next time, yeah. Hang on, is that blocked? Ugh.
Eager to please.
Okay, so what about if we just move up here? I think we're doing this. Yeah, we're going to move this over here. We will take a pot shot. Sure, we probably hit our own captain, but that's fine. Okay, we didn't hit the captain, that's good. We will Sword of Justice here. Get a nice melee attack. Honestly, I think we Stim Burst here. And
A slap is an unrealized punch.
I'm going to use this as an opportunity to move block. Let's move block over here. So make them come the way that we don't want them to. And then I'm actually going to play... I kind of want to just try out Turncoat. So let's pop Turncoat back here. Try and keep it relatively safe. Because now anything that they play, if we get a good angle on it, we can potentially protect. So this is fine. If we can block this next turn and stay safe, we've got ourselves a free Sevria. Yep, so they hit that. They can go for a spin if they want.
Like a snug onesie.
Okay, Sevria's protecting herself. That's okay. So we can actually protect ourselves really well here and potentially even just steal Sevria, make good use of Shrapnel. We're down to equal crew and we're ahead on board. So I kind of don't hate the situation. And we're up on assists as well.
Please don't make me mingle.
Okay, so I think we are hiding behind this wall, trying to steal this and placing something down over here to...
You got it. Beats of sweat.
Okay, so let's try this.
I am in control.
So first of all,
Every excuse.
you're just going to shoot some of these.
It's my boy.
You can come over here and hide from Aria. Although we can also just do 3 Scattervines here. Let's... So if that's immobilised and Stim Burst, they might not even be able to get through. So let's pop this over here. Go for your mine there.
We must do this.
Move here. And I think what we do is try and just block things in place. So there's not enough damage here to kill Balam.
This is frustration.
So we'll pop this over here.
Doesn't sleep sound.
And then maybe Maximus in here. It seems to work. So we just should steal Sevria here. It's immobilised and can't attack us. And then next turn we can just move this onto another one with Stim Burst and just try and take something every turn. Which to me seems pretty reasonable.
This is my jam.
Like, Crankbait can go and pull something, but I don't think he can pull what they need to. Yeah, Aria can just kill. Okay, so we can put damage onto Turncoat.
Be brave.
But I don't think that's quite enough to get in range to kill it. I think we might be on a turncoat like victory here. Because we can then shield this next turn, we can move over here, we can kill Aria if they don't move. This could be really cool. Turncoat doing well, the Yin Gao Shui Sui vibe. So what we've got here, we've got a couple of different helmets. Yeah, obviously we knew Shrapnel was going away. The question is, what's their remaining Cinder going on? And how can we stop losing too many units?
Do not distract me.
This is so powerful. The fact that we've managed to get in this position where we can just take one of their units, potentially over multiple turns. Yeah, so that's obviously good for them. It's just moving away somewhere. Yep.
Don't worry, I'll lead.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. Interesting enough as well though, that actually probably puts us in a victory situation. Because we just shield barrier ourselves here.
To the safety zone.
We inner energy and kill Aria. Oh, he's still got a miss. Oops. Let's go with the oops there.
My mistake.
The mind is complex.
So we can pop this over here, and you're mine.
Feeling out of control.
Let's pop these over. I've got a stim burst, but I don't think it's enough.
Like my battle mask?
So let's just pop over here and just poke Extilior, I think.
Careful, that's velvet!
Come over here for a little hit. Ooh, the crit. We'll Spore Puff this. We might as well Shield of Hope this, make them spend more resources on it.
Unrealized punch.
Block in here. There we go. And the turn. And we might get ourselves a free Tipu. Ooh, I'm starting to like Turncoat. Oh, that was great. We were getting ourselves a free Tipu there as well. Turncoat was incredible that game. I'm gonna call it there for this video, but that was fantastic. So I've really enjoyed this list. Turncoat amazingly outperformed. If you've enjoyed this, please let me know what you think. Hit that like button. Please do subscribe. Go and join us over on Patreon. But either way, I'm just happy to have you here. So I want to say thank you very much for watching and have a good day.